First lesson, I'm going to show you the incredible power of compounding interest. Now, compounding interest is really the reason why investing is worth it in and of itself. So make sure to tune in for this whole lesson because it's important to know why you're doing what you're doing as you're investing. Compounding interest basically means interest earned on interest. For example, say you invest $1. A year from the time that you invest $1, that $1 turns into $1.10. You keep that $1.10 in your account, and the next year, the $1.10 doesn't turn into $1.20. It actually turns into $1.21. And that's because you've earned interest on the interest that you've earned. So I'm about to take you into an investment calculator that will show you a bunch of different scenarios for how you can use compounding interest to your advantage. So here we're going to look at this investment calculator. Over here, I'm going to take us through a few different scenarios here for what your investments look in the different amounts of years that you choose to invest for. So the starting amount I'll put for each of the scenarios is $0. Say you invest for 10 years and you put $500 a month into your investment account. And you do this every month for 10 years. Let's see what the breakdown is. So at the end of 10 years, $500 a month gets you $110,900. Wow. And this is the key thing right here is this breakdown between what you've earned with interest and what you earned with your own contributions. 54% your contributions and 46% interest. So effectively, 10 years of investing at 12% per year will double your money. And that's the total balance, is this line that it's showing in this line graph right here. I highly recommend this calculator. It's really nice. It gives you a breakdown of what you put into it, what you earn, and what the ending principal is right there. So let's do another scenario. So say you invest $500 per month. You don't just do this for 10 years, but you do it for 20 years. Let's calculate it and see the difference. Wow, it just went from $110,000 to around $500,000, assuming that return rate is 12%, which, by the way, 12% is the average return rate for investing in the S&P 500 over the past 100 years. That has been the average amount of returns that people get from the investments. All right, now let's look at the breakdown of this. This contribution that you made to this investment was only 26%, and then all of what you earned made up 73%. To be more specific, $335,000 wasn't part of the contribution of $500 per month, but that was earned on interest. So now you can start to see the power of compounding interest through the years. The longer that you have the investment in the account, the more it earns you over the long haul. If you don't believe me, just ask a man named Warren Buffett. He'll tell you all about it. He has a net worth of about $60 billion. So yeah. So let's go to the third scenario that I want to take you through. Say you're invested for 30 years at $500 every month, and you're contributing that into your retirement or any type of investment. This is when it gets really, really beneficial. So you can see this in this breakdown chart. This is pretty crazy. Your contribution over the 30 years is $180,000. The contribution from the investment itself is $1,300,000 total. And you can see that broken down up there. And by the way, all of these are with a starting amount of $0. And I made it that way specifically to give you hope, and specifically so that you would see that it's never too late to start. And where you're at right now in life is the perfect time to start. You're not too late, you're not too early. Just right now is a great time. And so you can see that this graph, the balance accumulation graph, gets even more dramatic. And this is your contribution total right here. And this is your total balance in the account. So as you go through 25 years and 30 years, this curve gets even more and more dramatic. Now, with this fourth example, you're going to see the curve get even more dramatic. So example number 4, I want to do this for, say, a millennial who's 30, say you're 30 years old, you're just beginning investing, you don't have the best job yet, you don't have too much disposable income, so you are going to choose to give $250 into your investment per month. And say you start this at 30, you end it at 70, so you continue this investment for 40 years. What is it going to be when it gets to the end? All right, wow, this is a whopper. All right, so you have about $2.4 million at the end of 40 years investing only $250 per month at a 12% return rate. And this breakdown graph is really dramatic here. So what you actually contribute to the account is $120,000, which is only 5% of what the total amount the account earns at the end of the period. And 95% of it is earned in interest to the tune of $2.3 million. This is how people become millionaires. You don't become a millionaire overnight. You become a millionaire by starting to do the right thing and being consistent with it throughout your whole life. All right, now I'm going to talk about the last example. Say you're a baby boomer. And what I mean by a baby boomer, say you're 60 years old and you're cramming for your retirement exams. As in, you haven't saved anything for retirement yet. There's still time for you. So you want to save as much as you can during this time. And if you're 60, you probably have a lot more disposable income. And say you're wanting to really catch up and make the most of your investments until you get to be 70 years old. So we're going to have this investment run for 10 years. But instead of $250 a month, you're going to put $1,500 into your investments every month. This is cramming for exams. It still ends up being worth it. I mean, so you put in that $1,500, you earn at the end of 10 years, you have around $300,000. And the breakdown here is, you have 46% interest, 54% contribution. You can see the line graph here. What I would say is it's still worth it. It's never too late to start investing. And look at this. I mean, the total contribution is $180,000, but what you end up with is $332,000. Like, that is totally worth it. All right, and then with the last scenario, what if you start at 20 years old and you invest until you're 70? And when you're 20 years old, let's just put in $250, and you keep doing that consistently for 50 years straight. This is going to be the most fun one here, because it really, between the ages 40 and 50, you can see the curve in this line really elevates and goes to a whole new level of what you're earning in your compounding interest. So what you put into the account is only $150,000 throughout your whole lifetime. I mean, anybody can afford that. What you end up with is $7.5 million. Oh my goodness. What? And the total interest that you earn is 98%, and the contribution that you actually have to pay into the investment throughout the years is $150,000. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's amazing, the power of compounding interest. So I want to encourage you, don't be discouraged by where you're at. Be encouraged that there's always time for you to be able to invest, no matter where you're at in life. I would just encourage you, start now, get educated, take more of my classes, and get to it, because it is a great opportunity. This lesson, I'm going to teach you what the different investment accounts are and which one is best for you to use. So the 3 different investment accounts that you can get is a traditional 401k, a Roth IRA, and a brokerage account. A traditional 401k is unique in the sense that all contributions that you make into